Okay, welcome back to another Mario Kart World video. And this video is a big one for me, personally, because of the fact it's 1 year of the Saatie channel. Big news. So yeah, I've been uploading weekly for a year now. And while I've not been able to quite achieve exactly what I wanted to with the channel, I'm still having a lot of fun with it. And in this video, I'm going to be covering the latest update to Mario Kart World. I think it's the 1.2 update. And it's because Nintendo have kind of, I would say, listened to the feedback of much of the community. And the reason I say that is because, as you have heard in several of my videos, and probably through many other people's videos, and online articles, and, well, everywhere, the frequency for free lap races, or traditional races within Mario Kart, have been increased, meaning that now online races are back to how I think they always should have been, which is to say that there is more likelihood of a free lap race. However, I haven't done much testing of this yet because I haven't had much chance to play the game, but from what I've heard as well, it's not necessarily been... Well, it's not like guaranteed, basically. It's not guaranteed to be a free lap race like some people would want. I've said several times I don't mind the intermission tracks, but it's when you're playing intermission tracks like 80 to 90% of the time, which seemingly they've changed that somewhat. I don't know how much or anything like that, but the fact they've changed it at all and have mentioned it within the patch notes is a positive thing, and I think is ultimately a headline change, so to speak. A few other things that they have changed, though, and something which I personally am quite confused with, I'll admit, is, first of all, the boomerang's homing power has been reduced. Now, I have said in my item ranking video that I'm not much of a fan of the boomerang. I think it's a pretty annoying item. It lasts too long, and you kind of just get frustrated when you get it, or at least I personally get frustrated when I get it. And apparently it's now been made weaker. Which, yeah, I can't personally say I understand why. I think it's only going to become more frustrating to get now, but apparently that's a change that they have made. Also, though, item distribution has had some adjustments, so lower placing players will now receive fewer triple dash mushrooms. So I'm assuming this gameplay that I've got in the background, again, I'm actually recording the voiceover before I do the gameplay, which is why I'm saying I haven't tested the free lap races or anything like that to see the actual frequency of everything. The item distribution is apparently now, fewer triple dash mushrooms for lower placing players. So maybe you'll see that in my gameplay, or maybe you won't. I don't really know. Either way, there are also a big change, in my opinion anyway, is that players in first place can now receive a coin and a coin block simultaneously. Now, that's big news in the sense that I'm fairly sure that I don't know, I've never really been that bothered about getting coins, but I think it affects acceleration. And I suppose having coins quicker, you get more coins and are able to get it in double boxes, is a good thing, I suppose, for the person in first, being able to accelerate quicker, but also they offer no defensive capabilities, and so in that sense, it's probably worse. So overall, a nice balance change, something that I personally can get behind. I think it's a good change, personally. Next up, some other changes that they've made is some new game rules and versus races. Now, this is something which, again, I've said before, I think that online should have more customizability. Is that a word? I think it's a word. But basically, what these new game rules are with the versus race is that when you're doing a versus race, you get a few different customization options. Maybe I'll record some footage of this. Maybe I won't. I don't really know. Basically, you get the options of like frantic items, normal items, and like teams and everything like this. In this case, there is now the option to have things like no computers. So if you're playing with, 4 players on LAN, basically, for multiplayer, you can just play the 4 of you racing against each other, which is interesting to me because I didn't actually know that wasn't a feature already, and I think it being an option, though, is a good thing. personally. Because, again, ultimately, there's a lot of people who just won't really want to play against the computer. It's more fun in some ways to just play with your friends or family or whoever the hell you're playing with. So, again, I think a good change personally doesn't really affect me. I'm playing a lot more online, so, like I say, it doesn't really bother me. But one thing that I am happy about is that they've also given the option of items for mushrooms only. Now, the reason why I'm happy for this is because of the fact I think it's always actually kind of interesting to do a mushrooms only sort of race because of the fact it's sort of like doing a 1v1 time trial with friends or family or again whoever it may be you're against, or maybe you're just doing it with the computers. I don't really know, but pretty much what mushrooms only would be is it guarantees that you only get mushrooms, believe it or not. Unbelievable, right? And they can be useful for shortcuts, they can be useful for recovery, whatever, right? They're a useful and versatile item. Let's see what other things are in the patch notes, because I am failing to see anything particularly interesting beyond that I personally would mention within this. I mean, a cool thing, this is not huge, but cool, I guess, is that in free roam mode, there is now, when you've collected everything, so all the P-switches, question mark panels, P-twin medallions, there is now an indicator that you actually got them all. I think that's a good thing for anyone who's a completionist, but to be honest, I think most people who are completionists have probably already done that and therefore already know that they've done that, but still cool for anyone who wants to do that. Personally, I'm not that interested in doing that, for as much as they actually are kind of fun, the P-switches and question mark panels and everything. Again, I'm not a huge fan now at this point of playing through them. Maybe I will at some point, maybe I'll make a video out of it. I don't really know, but yeah, I've not got loads of them. It's a cool addition and makes the free roam world actually kind of interesting, but I digress. So yeah, what other things should we say? I mean, did I mention the? Yeah, so I think, I don't know actually if I did mention this or not. There is changes to the AI behavior as well. So when you're racing a CPU, their difficulty has apparently been significantly weakened in almost except for battle, which I think makes some sense. Because if you have seen any races against CPU or anything like that, you will have seen that a lot of the time, races in Mario Kart World, you kind of have like one CPU who is able to either keep up with you or basically beat you the majority of the time. Like, it was very difficult to actually win races consistently, even if you're like really good at the game, because the CPU now are clever enough to be able to take shortcuts and basically be just as good as a online player. I mean, okay, maybe not quite that level, but basically they were quite quick is kind of the point. And so they have been nerfed, which I don't know how to feel about that, because I liked the challenge of it, and I think there should be an option to be able to have the CPU be that good and make it fun to race. But equally, I kind of understand the stance of this is ultimately a children's game at the end of the day, and so I suppose making it easier makes a lot of sense. Other than that, I believe that covers everything in the patch notes. So, yeah, like I say, I am recording this before I have played through the patch or anything like that, and so while you will be watching gameplay in the background and everything, I haven't, that's recorded after me recording this, so I can't comment necessarily on these changes, which is entirely counterproductive, and I should have done it the other way around, but it doesn't matter. Basically, my opinion of these changes, I should say, is all of them sound pretty good, except for the AI changes, making them slower or easier. Can't say I'm a massive fan of that idea, albeit I've also seen some people saying that's a good thing because they felt it was too hard, and like say, I guess for kids it's a good thing, so I don't know. An interesting change. Overall though, a lot of cool changes. I'm a big fan of the fact that there is now more free lap races. I think that's ultimately what Mario Kart's about, and yeah, I'm happy to see that change. Anyway, that's everything for I guess, the year anniversary of Saatie. Bye.